There are many things a player needs to be able to do during a battle. Set up their tank correctly at the start, analyze both teams' lineups, know the positions on the map, get to the position, fire at enemy vehicles, block incoming shots, spot enemy vehicles, avoid being detected, reposition based on information from the mini-map. The list goes on. The list is in fact much longer, but don't let that scare you. There's no point in taking on everything at once. As in any business, the most important factor is your consistency and the ability to correctly assess the effectiveness of your actions. WTR will help you to evaluate your actions objectively. It's calculated with a complex formula, but there's only a few key factors you need to keep in mind. Damage blocked, damage caused with your assistance, the number of enemy vehicles you have destroyed, and your survival rate. You can track all these parameters and your progress along the learning curve by reviewing your session statistics for battles and vehicles. The influence each factor has on the rating directly depends on the role of the vehicle in which you enter battle. To play successfully in different vehicles, you need to master different skill sets. Here's an example. The Object 430U and the Leopard 1 are both medium tanks, but with totally different roles. The Object 430U is an assault medium tank. From the role description, it's clear that this vehicle has excellent armor for its class, and it suits close-range engagements. The main parameters in close quarters are damage caused and blocked. It's important for the commander of this vehicle to survive by taking hits and returning fire to enemies, for example, by hitting their weak spots. The Leopard 1, though, is a different story. This medium tank is a sniper, and it has almost no protection, but it's maneuverable, and it has an excellent gun with high accuracy. The key parameters for the Leopard are damage, as well as damage caused by assistance, either spotting or immobilizing opponents. It's important to shoot accurately, spot enemies, and avoid damage by using the tank's concealment and mobility. Other parameters will also add several points to the overall WTR rating, but an attempt to tank in a lightly armored medium tank won't boost your statistics. A vehicle's parameters determine its strengths, and they, in turn, determine the vehicle's role in battle. Effective use of the vehicle's strengths leads to an increase in the corresponding WTR values. For vehicles with huge damage per shot, magazines, or auto-reloaders, the average damage per battle is an important performance indicator. For fast-firing vehicles with low damage per shot, damage caused as well as the number of opponents killed are vital factors. Vehicles with accurate guns and weak armor should focus on causing damage from a distance. As for mobile vehicles with good view range, assisted damage is a vital factor. And if a vehicle has great armor and a lot of hit points, the key performance indicators are damage caused as well as damage blocked. To understand how to block damage, you need to understand how to use your armor effectively to absorb shots, also known as tanking. Tanking is exposing your vehicle's armor to enemy fire in such a way that you preserve your HP. The easiest way to learn whether a vehicle can tank or not is to check its role. Assault and breakthrough vehicles have good armor, which means they can usually take a punch. Another way is to compare armor thickness against shell penetration. To do this, go to the Vehicle Comparison tab and select vehicles you see often in battles. If the shell penetration value is equal to or lower than the armor thickness, the vehicle is able to tank. If the penetration value is higher, the shell can punch through the armor. Angle your armor to significantly increase the effective armor thickness and absorb more shots. We also recommend that you study the official articles and videos about the mechanics of armor, screens, external modules, and different types of shells. This will help you understand how well different vehicles can tank. and choose the right defense methods for your vehicle. Also, don't forget to check out streams on our official channels as well as from our community contributors. This approach will help determine the strengths of the armor of any vehicle. Put your knowledge to the test in battle, and soon, you will notice how your results change. In the session statistics for vehicles, you will find the average damage blocked parameter. Compare it with the results of players in the vehicle leaderboard and evaluate your current tanking skill. You can use the performance of Hall of Fame players as a reference point. It's unlikely that you'll be able to compete with the best of the best right away. First, set a goal for yourself to get onto the leaderboard. It won't be easy, but it's quite achievable. Raise the bar gradually. Set your target 10% higher than your current average damage blocked. Then add another 10%. Compete with yourself and aim for small milestones. And one day, you will find yourself in the Hall of Fame. If your performance drops, the biggest mistake is to claim, "I was unlucky," and to continue doing the same, hoping for a different outcome. Try to take a step back and evaluate what went wrong. Do you know how your vehicle's armor works? Or maybe you are fighting on the front line alone. Or perhaps you are too passive in the game. Try changing your tactic and remembering which situations worked and which didn't. This is a sure way to become a master of tanking over time. The same approach applies to all other factors. Causing damage is the ability to shoot, hit, and penetrate an opponent's vehicle. To boost your statistics, do it consistently. Damage is king. Focus on doing as much as you can in every match. To develop this skill, you need to master several things. First of all, learn the penetration mechanics of different ammunition types. When firing from a distance, you should be mindful of leading your shots. Shells have different velocities. The higher the shell velocity, the less lead you need to give to a shot. And the farther away or faster the enemy, the greater the lead. Practice until you master this skill set. Next, you need to learn how to prepare for shooting quicker. To do this, you need to keep in mind weak spots of vehicles, such as the lower glacis plate, the commander's cupola, the driver's hatch, etc. The most accessible tool for this is the penetration marker. Look for when it turns green, take your shot, and remember this knowledge for future encounters. The ability to identify easy targets will also come in handy. Vehicles with weak armor, less hit points, lower tier, etc. And if the enemy is well armored but has turned their hull or turret sideways, they are also fair game. Try not to fire when the aiming circle is the widest. Aim in advance where you expect the enemy to appear, and drive carefully to avoid the aim circle widening. If your vehicle has poor stabilization, press the R key once and try driving at a lower speed. Shoot and go back to cover right away. Take your time, watch from cover, and plan every shot. As a result, you'll learn to shoot faster and more effectively than your opponents. This means you'll be able to survive longer and cause more damage. The average number of vehicles destroyed is an indicator that reflects your ability to eliminate opponents. The fewer enemy guns able to fire, the less damage received by allies and yourself. It's easy to master this skill. While reloading, zoom out and analyze your surroundings, looking for low hit point targets that you can pick off easily. Having high penetration and alpha damage values can also make this task a breeze. However, when playing in a vehicle with high alpha damage, consider how much potential damage is lost when firing at an enemy with a small amount of HP. If there are fast-firing vehicles nearby, it's better to leave this job to them. Increase your team's chance of winning by destroying opponents. Sometimes it's nice to let a teammate achieve a Top Gun medal. Damage caused with player's assistance, commonly referred to as assist damage, is the ability of enabling allies to cause damage to enemy vehicles by spotting, immobilizing, or stunning them. Only SPGs can stun vehicles. This is done with their high explosive rounds, which have a splash radius. Stunning a vehicle reduces its capabilities by briefly debuffing its crew-related characteristics. The aim is to stun vehicles which your allies are about to engage so that your teammates have the upper hand. Watch the battle closely and try to shoot at those enemies who are exposed to fire from your allies. Another method for gaining assist damage is to destroy a track by firing at the chassis. The higher the ammo caliber, the higher the chance of immobilizing the enemy. It's best to immobilize an enemy when they are in a position where your allies can also damage them. Remember that heat shells struggle against spaced armor and tracks. If you want to cause damage, it might be worth switching to a different shell type. Spotting damage is one of the most complex topics. Familiarize yourself with concealment and spotting mechanics. Figure out how the view range and render circles can help. Learn how to play mobile vehicles with thin armor. They are rightfully considered some of the most difficult tanks to master and are often the first to be sent back to the garage. Don't rush in without a plan. Surviving can allow you to play a more vital role in the later stages of the battle. Speaking of survivability, consider assault vehicles. They are well protected and often forgive mistakes. Survivability is the ability to save your hit points in any situation while still being useful to your team by spotting or causing damage. This is one of the most important parameters. Some would argue it's the most important. The longer you survive, the more you can spot and fire, allowing you to play a more influential role in achieving victory for your team. This, however, deserves a separate video itself, and perhaps we will revisit the topic in the future. For now, tankers, good luck on the battlefield.